Hello, everyone. This is Boichi, a YouTuber and manga artist. Today's video topic is this: local comics and manga. There are no global comics.
Huh?
What you are reading are local works. So, what does this mean? There are plenty of global hits, right? Yes, there are indeed massive global hits. However, in the world of manga, the truth is that only local works exist. Today, I'd like to talk about that. First, in the world of comics, of course, there are massive global hits, and there are globally famous IPs and characters. Is there anyone on Earth who doesn't know Superman? Hasn't everyone seen the Superman logo at least once? Superman, Spider-Man, Iron Man, and Batman. These are incredibly famous characters and IPs. What about Dragon Ball? Dragon Ball is also an incredible work. It's a legend. Everyone knows Dragon Ball and Son Goku. Dragon Ball is a national treasure of Japanese manga. It has achieved tremendous success worldwide. There are many such works. Solo Leveling, a Korean webtoon, became a global hit. They are amazing and very famous works. All of these are world-famous works. However, were these works created for a global readership? Superman is incredibly famous. But was Superman really created with the global market in mind? Or was it created for a specific reader group of Americans? Like boys, for example. Do you get what I'm saying? That's exactly the point I'm making. It's just as you're thinking. My favorite manga hits a global? Is it famous worldwide? But it wasn't made for a global audience. To be precise, successful works are created for a particular region, country, or group of consumers. It's local manga and comics. This is the secret of the manga business world. Could we say that global manga has almost never existed? Well, I don't know everything. But think about works like the Avengers from Marvel Studio. They are made with the global market in mind. Were they created for a specific audience group in the US market only? No, I don't think so. They are planned, considered, and researched from the start to appeal to global audiences. That's how they are made, right? Now, think about Hollywood in the 1980s. There were movies that became huge global hits in the 1980s. I like Rambo. What about Total Recall and RoboCop? Predator and Alien? I've never met anyone who doesn't like these movies. They're such excellent works. Of course, they became global hits. But were these works made with the global audience in mind? Well, it's hard to say for sure. Was Rambo really made for a global audience? Or was it created for a specific audience and a market in the US? But then, why was it released and watched all over the world? The reason is that, at the time, there was no such thing as commercial entertainment films made specifically for a global audience. That's how it was. What that means, and how things changed afterward, is something I'll discuss another time. But in the 1990s, Hollywood introduced the idea of creating movies as multimedia entertainment for a global audience. Research began on how to produce movies that could appeal to the entire world. That's when this concept was born. Perhaps what Hollywood invented in the 1990s was the first of its kind in human history. I can't say for sure, but it might be the very first time this happened. The creation of work specifically with a global audience in mind. And it even has a name. Well-made was born in the 1990s. This concept of well-made shook the Korean film industry and Korean film criticism magazines in the 1990s. It made waves in the Korean film market through these magazines. Now, can you imagine what happened in the Korean film industry after that? Can you imagine the impact it had? That's exactly what happened. This crucial concept was born, and the Korean film industry quickly adopted it. They embraced this idea of well-made. So, since the 1980s, the era of Hollywood's local films ended, and the era of well-made movies began. Of course, not every Hollywood movie is well-made. Plenty of local films are still being produced, and some local films, naturally, become massive global hits. It's not that local films can't hit it big worldwide. In fact, local films often become huge successes on the global stage. Now let's think about this. If you create a well-made movie, does it automatically become a global hit? No, not necessarily. But this strategy is crucial. It significantly expands the industry itself. If a work is well made for the domestic market and its readers, it could potentially become a global hit. Even if it doesn't succeed globally, it can still grow powerfully within the domestic manga market through this approach. Now, do you understand what I'm trying to say? There are works that became global hits, but they're still local works. So, when we consider the future of global comics and manga, do you see what's needed? We need to study well-made. So, does that mean manga just needs to be well-made? Not exactly. Here's my thought. When we think about the future of manga, comics, and webtoons, create both well-made and local comics. Wouldn't it be great if, from the beginning, you could create a world of comics in your country that combines local works with well-made content aimed at the global market? Go after two goals at once. To develop such a strategy, we first must realize that, unlike movies or dramas, the world of comics still predominantly produces only local works. That's what I want to share this topic with you today. Thank you for watching. Goodbye, everyone.